Hi everyone, welcome back to Caribbeanducks, and today I'm glad you can join me to celebrate Christmas in July. We're celebrating with Hook and Cook Vlad family. So join me and I'll show you how we make this delicious, exciting recipe here. This is the traditional Guyanese garlic pork, originally from Europe, from the Portuguese that came to the Caribbean. This garlic pork along with Vlad and family Caribbean style chow mein, delicious and flavorful. And I'll show you how we do this in tutorial style. First I'm gonna go to the garden and get me some nice scotch bonnet peppers, some Spanish oregano, and some Guyanese thyme. This is what we're looking like here. A couple of sprigs of thyme, some Guyanese merinade basil. Look at this beauty. And 3 knots of garlic, because this is our main ingredients and I love using garlic in my recipes. I'm going in with 3 whole knots of garlic that I'm gonna peel and prepare. And this is our vinegar and about 4 pounds of meat. I'm gonna cut my meat now in nice chunk sized pieces. So for this recipe, it's preferably if you use meat with nice marbleization with a good amount of fat, because the fat is what you need for this additional flavoring of this meat. And we're not going to use any oil in this recipe, so the fat in the meat will render and cook this meat as well. So keep watching, folks. If you're new to this channel, please go ahead and hit that subscription button, ring that bell, and you'll see more recipes like this. Follow along and continue watching, and you'll see I'm gonna use 2 limes here now to wash our meat, because the folks in the Caribbean, we always wash our meat, make sure that we get it nice and clean. So the main reason why we use lime or lemon or vinegar to wash our meat, folks, is to get that wrinkness out of the meat, get it nice and clean and ready for the seasoning. This is why we wash our meat thoroughly. So I have a rule of thumb here now when I'm washing the meat, whether it's with lime, lemon, or vinegar. I make sure to rinse it thoroughly at least 3 times with clean water to ensure that it's nice and fresh. So this is what I'm doing right now. Now that we have our meat nice and washed, we want to drain off all the excess water right now and prepare it and set it to the side so we can get our seasoning in. Now I'm going to strip my fresh Guyanese thyme and add it to our meat, and then I'll go in with the rest of the seasoning. Here's a better look at what I'm doing. Now I'm going to chop up my Spanish oregano or wide leaf thyme, broadleaf thyme. I'm going to add it in there for extra layer of flavor. And here's our Guyanese merinade basil. I'm just going to strip the leaves off and chop it very fine and add it to the mixing bowl with the meat. Just like this. Gonna mince it. Now you have an option whether you can put these ingredients in a food processor or a blender and then give it a good pulse, but I find it nice and relaxing to just chop everything. So here's our garlic. We got our 3 knots of garlic. I'm just gonna crush them and take them out the shell, and I'll show you exact amount what it looks like. This is what we're working with. And the next thing, which is optional, I'm going in with about 10 pimento berries here. This is gonna add an extra layer of flavor and make it kicked up a notch and bring out all that flavor from the meat here. So the pimento berry lends a nice smoky flavor in a Caribbean way. So in goes our nice crushed pimento berry here. This is allspice berry. I'm gonna cut my peppers up now. A nice fat delicious Scotch bonnet pepper that I'm gonna add to our mixer. And in goes our garlic with the pepper. And we're just gonna crush everything into a paste. You wanna make sure you get it nice and fine, because we want that ingredients to permeate the meat. And since the garlic is the main ingredients here, you want to get it nice and small. And this is what we're looking like here. I'm just gonna add everything into the meat here at this point. Now this is a very simple and easy recipe. It doesn't call for a lot of ingredients, but you must follow these steps. Now I'm going to go in with about 2 tablespoons of my own green seasoning mix. I'll leave a link here for the green seasoning, folks. You can take a look at that. And my wife is going to give me a hand here now to get in with all this beautiful seasoning here and mix it all together well. Just want to massage this seasoning into the meat here, sort of like how you would mix or knead your flour. Just get it in there, bring it up from the bottom to the top, get all that seasoning well coated here. This is what we're looking like here, folks. And it's starting to smell great in this kitchen here with this stuff. Look at it, nice chunky seasoning here that's getting right down into that meat. Now I'm just gonna add our vinegar, and I'm gonna bring the vinegar up to the top of this container. So what's recommended is for you not to use metal containers. You can use glass containers or plastic. From what I'm understanding is that the metal will draw with the vinegar. It has caused a reaction because of the acidic vinegar. So it's always recommended to use a glass container or a plastic container. So what I'm going to do now is set it into the refrigerator and leave it here for a few days. Approximately 4 days that I had this in the refrigerator for. And I'll show you the next step here. So it's been marinated for 4 days. Then I remove it from the refrigerator. And what we have to do next is to let it strain off into a nice colander. Get all that liquid vinegar out. Let it sit there for about 20 minutes. It's gonna get nice and dry. It's still gonna have some liquid inside, but that's okay. Gonna put it in a hot pan, and this is all we need to do is cover it down and let it steam. And what's actually gonna happen here is it's gonna steam out all that excess vinegar, and it's gonna do 2 things. It's gonna steam out the excess vinegar, it's gonna cook the meat, and it's gonna render the fat, which will give it a nice flavor here. It's gonna cook in its own oil, so it doesn't take long. Make sure your pot is hot enough where it fries that meat in its own oil. So now I'm gonna add 1 tablespoon of sea salt and give it a nice mix. Now I'm gonna go in with a pinch of sugar to cut the acidity of this vinegar and make everything taste even better. Guys, keep in mind here, this might look like a lot of meat here, but at the end as it's cooking and it's rendering all that fat, this is gonna shrink down to a smaller amount. So we're gonna cover that down for a few minutes, let it steam, and it's gonna release its own liquid, and it's gonna cook in that liquid, and that oil is gonna render again, and it's gonna be nice and tender at the end. Okay folks, so we're cooking down this meat here. It's starting to brown at this point. All the liquids has been evaporated and it's frying in its own oil here. All the fat is just melted and cooked and have this meat nice and tender. So we're just about done here. So I'm just gonna cover it down, let it cool off, and we're ready to serve. So this is our nice, delicious, flavorful Guyanese garlic pork. Could be eaten with a nice piece of roti, freshly made, or you can have it with a piece of bread, or you can have it in a wrap. You can make a nice, delicious wrap. There it is, folks. Give this recipe a try. Give me a thumbs up if you like the recipe, and please don't forget to subscribe and like and share this video. I'll leave your comment. We're gonna have this with Vlad's Guyanese style chow mein. And guys, don't forget to check his channel out. It's Hook and Cook with Vlad family. Thank you guys for watching once again. Don't forget to cook with layers of flavor. Thank you for watching Caribbeanducks, and come back and check the other videos. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.